So we're here at the Draxall Sports Complex. We're in the beautiful parish of St. Anne for this mega clash between Mount Pleasant Football Academy, the Caribbean Cup champions, against the former champions Waterhouse. It's a 3 p.m. kickoff. So far, it has been exciting. I have with me here my analyst, Richard Henry. We'll talk a bit about the game and what is to expect. We'll take you through the starting lineup, both teams as well. But Richard, Mount Pleasant coming off a 1-0 win against Arnett Gardens. Waterhouse coming off a 1-0 win against the Chapperton Maroons. What do we expect today?
I expect a classic battle. This Waterhouse team seems to be getting better and better. Defensively, I know that they are better based on the formation that they're playing now. And I think the players are buying into the formation. Nonetheless, I think that when we played them in the first game, they played fairly well. I know that our team will want to make amends for that game because I thought we should have at least scored another goal. So I expect a good battle. I know our players are up for it. Again, Waterhouse is going through their transition of playing a new system, etc. They'll be aware that we are very potent up front, and it's very difficult to score on us here. But I expect a good battle.
Javier Einstein, the Argentine coach, came in after Waterhouse defeated Montego Bay United by a 1-0 down at Jared Park, replacing Marcel Gale. Got his first win against Chapperton Maroon in maybe his 6th try. Coming here against the Caribbean Cup champions, I'm pretty sure that he's really looking forward to it.
Oh, certainly. And I'd hope that he'd have done his homework. I'm sure he would have watched tape and would have known what it is that Mount Pleasant does well. It's very difficult sometimes, well, all the time, to come here and play the way that we play. I'm sure that they'll come up with a game plan. I don't think that they will be open at the start of the game. I think they'll watch and see what it is that we're doing. But nonetheless, he seemed to have come up with a system that the players are buying into, and I expect it to get better over time.
We will go through the starting lineups shortly, as it was a bit overcast earlier now. The sun is peeking out, but we'll take you through the starting lineups, and we will start with the home team, of course, Mount Pleasant Football Academy. Coming off that 1-0 win against Arnett Gardens. In goal will be Tafari Chambers. Kyle Ming is there. The captain is actually his birthday today. Kyle Ming, so happy birthday to the skipper of Mount Pleasant, Gadiel Irving, Warner Brown, Daniel Green, Joshawn Anglin, Rafa Interville, Raheem Edwards, Clifford Thomas, Demaria Phillips, and Fitzroy Cummings. So an unchanged team from the starting 11 against Arnett Gardens. Surprised?
Not surprised at all. I think that in the Arnett game, I think we played fairly well, especially in the first half of the game. We should have gotten more goals. I think it is that the coach would want the team to even gel more and to play with a lot more, cohesion, etc. And I think over time that will happen if this team consistently plays well together. But this is a very well-balanced team, especially up front.
And we're going to go to the Waterhouse starting 11. And Roger Williams, he starts in goal. There's Kimani Campbell, the number 12. Rashawn Amos, number 4. Denardo Thomas, the number 10. Dwayne Berger, he wears 16. Oman Leacock, the number 21. Colorado Murray, now a journeyman. He's there in the number 22. Neran Barrow, number 29. And there's Quives Paul, he's 33. And Jesus Abraham Murillo Godino. That's a very long name for the number 39, one of the additions here at Waterhouse. And then Shamari Dayam is the number 45. Waterhouse, they have reinforced since they've parted ways with Marcel Gale. And even though they have not been getting the wins and getting the goals, they have not scored double-digit. Well, not double-digit. They haven't scored multiple goals in a game since round about the 29th of September. That's a long time ago. But new acquisitions, do you think that Waterhouse will be looking to kick on from here?
Yes, certainly. I think, and even in talking with one of the coaches, the first area that they sought to firm up is defensively. If you look at their record, I mean, they've scored 16 goals and conceded 17. So rightfully, firming up and solidifying the back of the team is most important. And you'll notice, you may see today, when they defend with 5 across the back line. It makes them more difficult to break down, and they've been getting good results out of that. If you notice too, 65% of the goals that have scored on Waterhouse have been scored in the second half of games. So defensively, they're not a bad team, and if you even bolster that more, it's going to pay off for you. It is now about coming forward, and the players that you have up front, are they creative enough? Do they have the instincts of going to goal? Those are the things that they'll be looking for. And they have good players up front because Colorado Murray is a very good player. They've brought in a Panamanian player. He'll be the surprise package today because we've never seen him play before. Again, it's about the system that's being played. I know that they play a 3-4-3 going forward, and that person playing on the wing area, also filling in as a wing back, is a very critical part to their team because that person has to be fit to run the entire channel.
How do you think that they might go up against Mount Pleasant? You just spoke about the 3-4-3 going forward for Mount Pleasant. We've seen, especially against Arnett Gardens, that they were quick to be on the front foot, especially in the first half. At one point in the game, the most advanced person for Mount Pleasant was Demario Phillips, and he's the right fullback. How do you reckon that Mount Pleasant might go to maybe negate those kind of wingers? Or do you think that maybe somebody like Gadil Irving, who is more defensive-minded than, the man they call Rasta at the back in Bailey, do you think that Mount Pleasant might look to stay back and see what Waterhouse is doing?
Yeah, you see, it might be a tactic. I think the coaches will watch and see. They have an idea because they've prepared well in terms of what Waterhouse will offer. I mean, one of the ways that you go about dealing with wingers or wingbacks who are coming forward is to pin them. And you pin them by bringing either your winger or your wingback on them, so they have to stay home. Like I said, it's going to be a very tactical game, and the team that is most disciplined tactically is going to come out the victor in the end.
You look at Waterhouse, who do we look forward for? Denario Thomas is that kind of skillful, tricky player, but seem to go hot and cold in most games. Who do we look out for here today?
I think a player we have to look out for and be very careful with is Leacock. I think he's number 21. He has been playing a little bit deep for them, picking up the ball and bringing it forward. He connects the play fairly well, breaking the first line, etc. So I think we have to be careful of how much space we give him to play because he has that sort of ability.
Yeah, as we look, because the teams are ready, final bit. I won't ask your prediction, but does Warner Brown, he needs a goal. Does he get on the score sheet here today?
Certainly he can. He'll have to be very smart about how he plays because I can tell you he's going to come across, I think, at least 5 at the back. So how he runs in between those center backs and run, off their blind side is going to be very, very important. But I think how we come forward and the numbers that we bring is going to be critical because they'll have numbers in the back line.
As we look around here, the players are out. Waterhouse going through their pre-match rituals. The officials are also walking out. We're in for a really good game, aren't we?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, especially too that we are in good form and we're getting better. And this Waterhouse team is also getting better and buying into what is being brought to them with the new coaching staff, etc. And you can see some of the confidence. Again, in speaking to one of the coaches before the game, they're not here to get a point. They're trying to win today.
All right, so that does it then for the pre-game show brought to you by the Global Institute of Sports. And we're getting ready for kickoff. Should be a 3 o'clock kickoff. It's Mount Pleasant Football Academy hosting Waterhouse FC right here at the Draxall Sports Complex. The officials already, the teams are slowly marching off. It should be a very entertaining game. By the way, Mount Pleasant, they play 2 games at home in a short space of time because they do host the Arnett Gardens on Wednesday right here at the Draxall Sports Complex. And, the VIP era is up and round about. The Match2 magazine is up. So a feature on the physiotherapist from Mount Pleasant, Dr. Christopher Kelly. That's an interesting read as well. So much happening here at the Draxall Sports Complex. Should be a very, very entertaining game between 2 tacticians, Richard.
Yeah, most certainly. We'll see exactly what this Waterhouse team is made of because they're going to be tested today, especially tactically, because we're going to be pushing up. So let's see what their wingers/wingbacks are going to be doing.
All right, so the team walkout followed by the national anthem will take place, and then the next time you hear a voice, it will be kickoff for this titanic battle. All right, so the national anthem out of the way. The two captains are there. Referees. And we're getting ready. We're getting set for this clash between beautiful teams, two really tough teams, right here at the Draxall Sports Complex. Renard alongside analyst Richard Henry. We went through the pre-game show, and now we're getting ready for the show, which is Mount Pleasant Football Academy up against Waterhouse FC. A number of games going on around the league. All 7 games will be played today. 6 of them starting at 3. And the Cavalier game starting at around about 5:30. So just in case you're just joining us, the starting 11 for both teams, Duff Chambers in goal for Mount Pleasant, Ming, Irving, Brown, Green, Anglin, Interville, Edwards, Thomas, Phillips, and Cummings. And for Waterhouse, Roger Williams, Kimani Campbell, Rashawn Amos, Denardo Thomas, Dwayne Berger, Omani Leacock, Colorado Murray, Neron Barrow, Kiwis Paul, Jesus Godino, and Shamari Dyer, their starting 11. Richard, both teams going through their pre-match rituals. Mount Pleasant will be kicking from right to left on your screen. Waterhouse will be kicking in the opposite direction.
Very important, I think, for Mount Pleasant to start on the front foot. Waterhouse has been at times very slow in starting, and so you'd want to be able to try and take advantage of that. But like I said, this is a new system for them. Let's see how they're working into it and how Mount Pleasant copes with dealing with the numbers that they're going to bring forward.
All right, so the fans coming in. Waterhouse will get things going. This kickoff, and immediately they go wide left and brings the skipper in play right away. That's Kimani Campbell. Ball played through and taken up in the middle of the park. A big, strong, very physical Waterhouse. Aaron Barra, the ball is played out on the right-hand side. A shot towards goal. It's blocked. Still loose inside the area. And maybe overrun it. It's still in play. No whistle yet from the referee. It's still in play. Don't know. And the ball comes across the area. Picked up now by Berger. Has Irving. Gets it across. Still there. Mount Pleasant can't clear their lines. Amber dispossessed. Here's the man they call Flash. Interville on the right-hand side. Options inside. Warner Brown presents himself. Takes a touch. Throw in. Mount Pleasant. But Waterhouse, what a start.
Yeah, real goal mouth flurry there. Ball going across the goal several times. But again, credit to the defenders who were alert to be able to prevent that from entering the back of the net.
Phillips on that far side plays it back to the birthday boy. Kyle Ming, not the start to the game that he would have wished. It's still 0-0. Now to Daniel Green, who had a superb game. Angling, back to Green. Green does well. It's out for a throw. This time it goes the way of Waterhouse. And you can hear the coach shouting, close the line. Theodore Tapper Whitmore in his technical ear as well. So too Einstein. Both coaches on their feet early. Long throw. There's Colorado Murray. Dispossessed momentarily. It'll be a throw-in. Goes the way of Mount Pleasant this time.
And you can see exactly what this Waterhouse team is going to be trying to do. They'll allow you to play into the wing areas. And when you get into the wing areas, they'll bring numbers to. It's really called a funnel to block you from moving out of that area. You saw 3 players collapse on Green as soon as he got the ball in that area.
So a quick start from both teams. Well, more so Waterhouse than Mount Pleasant Football Academy. There's Thomas. And plays it all the way back. Warner Brown fighting for it. Wins his team a throw-in. And Mount Pleasant, they would want to settle. They kept Arnett Gardens in their half in the last game. Waterhouse coming off that 1-0 win over the Maroons. They're first under this new head coach. Here's the Mario Phillips charge down. Will be another throw-in on that far side. Both teams searching for consistency. I don't think I've seen this quite often. Fall throw.
Not at all. Not at all.
Definitely not at this level.
No.
There's a real battle happening there. As Waterhouse trying to get out. They've gone all the way back to Williams, who does well. It's flicked on, picked up now by the big burly, number 29, that's Borrow. Colorado Murray pressing from the right side in Borrow, asking his players to step up. And Chambers just putting his foot on the ball.
Waterhouse is employing a press.
Cummings to Clifford Thomas. Can't afford to lose it there. Goes all the way out to Phillips. No Ming. Pleasant passing the ball around. Waterhouse doing some great work in keeping them in their defensive zone. Green comes short. Tries to release Gadale Irving. Booted long. Dealt with by Ming. And should be a throw-in.
So we know that Waterhouse is going to be employing a high press in an attempt to win the ball back early in the Mount Pleasant half. And, of course, launch an attack immediately. So our Mount Pleasant's ability to keep the ball is going to be very important, especially in build-up.
Another throw-in for Waterhouse. A little bit closer. Burka is dying, the number 45. Big burly fella. I would want to get into a bar fight with him.
Recent acquisition as well.
He has been in the league for a number of years. He's been allowed to bounce. And then some indecision between Ming and Clifford Thomas gives up a corner kick.
And again, first corner kick, I think, is it, of the game. And, of course, I know on this Waterhouse generally has in-swingers coming in from the right or the left. So the marking here has to be good, especially on the center backs just entering the box.
Kimani Campbell is a man to take this in-swinger, left-footed. This goes to the back post, the heads go up. Very close that time was Paul. It's flicked on, comes all the way back to Campbell. Opportunity to get it in the box. Picks up Murray. Anglin does well. Some cleanup work for Cummings, who does well. Should be a handball. Yes, says the referee.
I must say I like that from Cummings. Instead of clearing and launching the ball, which would have probably gone back to the Waterhouse team, played to a teammate, again, keeping possession in our defensive third, and the middle third is going to be very important.
Thomas picks it up, middle of the field. Cummings offers himself. Back to Thomas. Very composed in the middle of the park. Charged on. Brilliant work from Waterhouse. Hunting in packs.
Yes, and they're giving us very little room to play, especially Green, who they know can be very dangerous if given the space.
And ball played over the top. There was a tug there on Warner Brown's shirt. Was looking for the call, didn't get it. Now in the middle of the park. Played forward, but too far forward.
That direct ball by Waterhouse straight up the middle of the pitch is a ball that Mount Pleasant does not want to be played often.
Godin with an early touch. This one not dealt with by Paul. Warner Brown almost got through there. Picked up by Dyer, does well. Anglin fights for it. Green. Recessed. Dyer plays it forward. And again, for a moment, Barrow thought he was in. Foul. That late challenge on Ming.
Excellent coverage by Ming. Of course, we'd have picked up very early that we have to pay some attention to Barrow. He's good size and from what we see, fairly good technical ability. And he's looking always to go forward. But well covered by Ming.
Looks very strong as well. Barrow. Looks very direct.
36 goals in the Guyanese elite league.
Ball played over the top. Dyer trying to allow it to go, does well. Good defensive work there from Dyer.
Again, that's the ball that Waterhouse would want Mount Pleasant to continuously play because of the difficulty with the press is to play that long direct ball. And it would go straight to the defenders for Waterhouse. We want to get involved in the build-up.
And passing it around the back as Leacock does well as Waterhouse escapes. Ball played over the top. Kimani Campbell back into... I wonder if he was just trying to keep it in or maybe thought he could catch Tafari Chambers out.
Sometimes that early square works. And again, that's Campbell playing from a left fullback position. So you know that their wingbacks are going to be attacking and bringing numbers. Mount Pleasant has to have numbers defensively as well.
Ming plays it to Phillips, plays it long downfield. Warner Brown, good take. Not a lot of options in front of him. Plays it through to Anglin. Has caught the outside of the boot there, Anglin. And Godina does well, very composed, the number 39. Like the look of him. Amos, the left fullback, plays this one forward looking for Barrow. And Ming does well. And shepherds it out for a throw-in.
Water is actually doing a very good job of blocking the middle of the park from Mount Pleasant and forcing Mount Pleasant to play on the outside.
Here's Ming. They haven't been able to put any amount of passes together, Mount Pleasant. If you look Waterhouse now with 5 players in Mount Pleasant's half, not allowing them to come out. You see that sprint from Colorado Murray. Anglin does well, looking for passes. Thomas offers himself. Mount Pleasant forced side to side. Interville not given space to roam, to run.
And we know that he needs that to be able to show his characteristics.
Should have been easily dealt with by Dyer. This will take some taking. And Green does well. Only for Godina to pick up possession. Here's Berger. Angling a little bit too rough that time. Gives up a foul.
May have been a foul that he would have wanted to give up to be able to have Mount Pleasant get back behind the ball.
Here's Dyer. The resulting free kick. There's options inside. He uses that option. And Leacock. Now Thomas. Good work. Demario Phillips, the right fullback, gives up a foul in the center circle.
Yes. Again, Waterhouse is trying to control the middle of the park. They've been doing a fairly good job so far because I think they have more numbers based on the formation they're playing.
I'm very impressed with them so far. Campbell, poor cross inside the box. Easily cut out by Ming. Phillips clears, finds Thomas. And they're just trying to pin Mount Pleasant back here. And they're doing a good job at it. Warner Brown, oftentimes isolated against 2 and 3 defenders. There's Leacock, gives up possession too easily. Tugs Clifford Thomas and gives away a foul.
Certainly could have been given a card for that, but I guess it's a foul that he would want to give up. Again, though, Ronaldo in the middle of the park, when the Waterhouse team is pressing, there's space behind them. Mount Pleasant players have to move into those spaces to be able to break the first line of pressure, and that's not happening right now.
Dyer does well again. Raheem Edwards does really well. But again, the numbers, Godina gives up possession. Here's Edwards again. Plays it through. Here's Green. Cuts inside. Daniel Green. Saved. The first bit of goal-mouth action is for the home team. Waterhouse, they can break the other way through Denarda Thomas. Forced to go back to Leacock. Anglin wins it back. Phillips on his bike. Anglin inside to Edwards. To Phillips. Phillips to Green. Water ball inside to Gadale Irving. Called into action again. Reggie Williams and does well.
And again, Green showing exactly why he can't be given any space to play. Would have preferred if he had gone to the far post. The goalkeeper was already cheating on the near post. Nonetheless, excellent try.
So a corner kick. Demario Phillips in swinger. Ball in the box, headed out, comes to Edwards. And missed it. And Anglin decides to go all the way back. Now to Irving. Back to Chambers. Mount Pleasant, they should be buoyed by those two attacks.
Yeah, most certainly. Of course, if we play quickly like we did, we'll catch the Waterhouse team.
This one played too long, and Williams takes it easy. Wouldn't mind if they will come as easy as that for the remainder of the game, but called upon twice in the last few minutes.
When both saves on that near post, I'd like to see us to go far post and see what he has.
There's been a very good goalkeeper. Williams is at Arnett Gardens and plays this one. Gadale Irving was late on that challenge on Berger. Our referee goes over to have a chat with Irving just to see if Berger is okay. No card produced. As Lord making that chat, Gadale Irving.
Yeah, the ball was played by the goalkeeper, which was a little bit late, a little bit slow. You could hear Coach Whitmore preparing Irving to come and intercept that pass. Had he been a little bit quicker, he would have gotten to the ball and not the man before.
It's about being on the front foot, isn't it? Anticipating. Yes. Ball go all the way to the left-hand side to Amos. Thomas presents himself short. Mistake from Amos gives Demario Phillips an opportunity to go forward, but broken up by Leacock. Amos again gives it away. A quick throw in here. Warner Brown wasn't ready for that. Allows Leacock to come back and to take control. Here's Thomas over the top looking for Campbell. Ming does well. Goes down under the challenge foul.
Again, just Phillips a little bit hasty. Ball retention is going to be important. So we want to make even those short passes more accurate to keep the ball.
Thomas does well. And Godino, who has seemed as if he's made a couple more steps forward, playing in a more attacking position than when he started the game. Colorado Murray tucked inside. Chambers goes long, asking Warner Brown to run. Here is Edwards' fall. Warner Brown too physical there.
This Waterhouse team, and you can see from the vantage point that we're at, they're playing, especially in that midfield, with a lot of rotation. So hence you'll see Modino closer to the Mount Pleasant goal, and then at times you'll see him back in the middle third, receiving the ball. If you just watch the midfielders, they are rotating fairly well and getting into good positions to be able to advance the play as well as press the Mount Pleasant team.
And Williams to take the resulting free kick. Gets it to Dyer, who has seen a lot of the ball. And gives it up to Green. Godina gives it up to Green as well. Here's Edwards. Edwards is through. It's a tough touch.
Yes, the touch was not soft enough. And good coverage. Give the defender his credit.
And Leacock gives it up. Here's Daniel Green on the left-hand side. He's looking to play that through. A Waterhouse with a chance to break. They could get 3v3 here. Maybe 5v4. Colorado Murray looking up, looking for options. Berger presents himself. Murray trying to go it by himself. Clifford Thomas does well. Holding him up. All the way back to Dyer. Goes inside. And indecision from Chambers. And Thomas with the overhead kick. And it goes behind for a goal kick. Indecision from a ball put in an uncertain area.
Yeah, I've not seen that sort of indecision from Chambers in a very, very, very long time. I'm not exactly sure what he was thinking, but certainly should have been able to cover that ball. And thankfully, no goal scored.
Here's Thomas twisting and turning. Irving. And Daniel Green. And Berger doing well. Green goes down under the challenge. Goes by 4. Warner Brown picks it up and gives it away to coming back. Here's Thomas and Waterhouse after the early burst. They've been sloppy in the last few minutes.
Again, it's about, I think, Ronaldo, tactical discipline. Started the game always in position in the right places, but as the game wears on, you can see some of the discipline moving, and you can see the Green getting free a number of times and being able to take on players 1v1.
And it looks as if Clifford Thomas has a little issue. And there he is getting some attention from Dr. Bersha Cole. And physiotherapist Christopher Kelly was featured in the Match2 magazine. What a good opportunity for both coaches to have a word with their team.
Yeah, certainly, and you can see Coach Whitmore having words. I think the Waterhouse coach may be okay with what's going on now. Teams go through the ebb and flow of the game. Sometimes you're up, sometimes you get pinned down defensively, and you have to have the players work that out for themselves on the pitch.
Yeah, talking about working things out on the pitch, I was listening to an interview and Stick to Football with Johnny Barnes, and he spoke about his early days at Liverpool and said that the coach just trusted the players to work things out on the field. And you're thinking that some of that probably gone out of the game. It's more technical and tactical to stick to rudiments.
And a lot of coaching going on the sideline. The verdict is still out on that because there are a lot of coaches who don't believe in that. And then there are some coaches who, that's how they prepare the team. That's how they go through a game with their team. But the idea should really be, Renata, that the work would have been done during the week prior to the game. There are things that you will correct on the pitch, but the players should certainly know and be able to figure out things that are going to be happening on the pitch and be able to come up with a solution. Because a good friend of mine, a coach, told me once that football is a game of problem solving. And you have to be able to solve whatever it is that the opponent is, which will change from moment to moment in the game. Rotations we're seeing from this Waterhouse team. Mount Pleasant will have to figure out how he deal with those rotations. Who is up, who is the CDM, who's building the play up, that sort of thing.
And cricket is a game of moments. So it's who capitalize on the moment. Football, in some sense, is like that. As play resumes, Murray flicks his one on to Berger, who can't get there. Usain Bolt and Johan Blake combined. As Daniel Green gives a possession ball, stays in Colorado Murray. I was about to say wrapped his boot, putting his knee around that. And Dyer seen so much of the game. So much of the game has been played on this near side, to be fair. A lot of attacks on the far side. Heads go up. Ming. Anklin clears further. A poor touch from Green. Edwards, firm touch, gets it to Warner Brown, who does well. And Daniel Green gets it back, ball inside. Some good one-touch football here from Mount Pleasant. Daniel Green in the box and just pushed it too far ahead. But you can hear the response from Draxall. That's the football they want to see.
Excellent combination play. So despite all the numbers that of defenders that Waterhouse had on this side, one-touch play and movement, and almost took us to inside the 18-yard box. Ball just ran away from him.
Here's Amos on that far side. Godino, a new addition to Waterhouse. Again, this is not the first time he has had his pocket picked. Has to be very careful. I've seen a couple of overseas players coming into the Jamaica Premier League and struggle because the league is a bit more physical than it might seem on television and a bit quicker as well.
Certainly is, especially the physicality.
Here is Godino. Looks a quality when he's given time on the ball. Colorado Murray generally operates up front, more in the middle of the park for Waterhouse. Berger has one to contend with, no two, does great. Ball played over the top. This is a good run. And Burrow looks up. Not a lot of options inside. Campbell arriving late. Cuts in on his left foot and goes to goal. What a goal that is! A beautiful strike from Burrow. The visitors have the lead from a superb shot from way outside the area. Waterhouse have struck.
Fantastic shot. I think the flight of that ball beat everyone. And of course, he's mainly an unknown quantity. And you could see him shaping to get that left foot shot. Cummings would have to get closer to him to be able to block. I'm not sure if everybody here thought that he would have scored from there, but he certainly believed that he could, and he did. And it's a fantastic shot and well set up. Now we know about that left foot.
A goal from virtually nothing. They thought the play was dead. Came in on his left foot and bent it. Goalkeeper Chambers had no chance. It's the visitors who lead. And Mount Pleasant, they have to get back. He spoke about Waterhouse not scoring multiple goals in a game since September. They have the first in this one. Given away again to Berger. Irving does well. Wins possession. Gets it to Green. Leacock does even better. Berger again, Barrow on the run. Goes to Murray, looks up. Ball inside, comes off the knee of the captain. Here's Interville, indecision inside the area again. That came off the hand of Barrow. Started the game bright, and if anyone on the part deserved a goal, you would think it was him.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, he has looked the part since his coming. He has looked as if he is or was the leading goal scorer in the last Guyanese Elite League, and certainly has quality.
A ball played over the top. The Guyanese announcing himself in the Jamaica Premier League.
21 years old as well.
Waterhouse, they do hope he'll be here for a long, long time. They have to hold on to this lead. Mount Pleasant, they've scored 11 goals in their last 3 home games. Mind you, they've only won 2 of those 3. Drew 1-1 with Racing United in their last game here at Draxall. And played all the way back to Cummings. And again, Waterhouse just not allowing Mount Pleasant to pass their way out from the back. Interville hasn't been in the game. Here's Phillips. To Ming, who is always looking for that ball over the top. Dealt with early. Here's Interville. Possessed by Leacock. And Campbell wins his team a throw-in. Applauded by the Waterhouse supporters.
The longer that you watch this game, Renato, you can see that there is a deliberate plan by this Waterhouse team to limit the space and time to play for Daniel Green. This player on this side, Berger, who is in an attacking and defensive role, but he has chosen his moments to come over the half line. And he's the one, I think, that has the assignment on Green.
And there's a foul there on Ming. And Barrow, too physical there, too strong. Hand too high. If you look at the setup now, Waterhouse almost set up in a 5 at the back, as you spoke about. The defenders very close. Berger tucking in. Dyer going into almost that third centre-back position.
They're very compact at the back.
But whenever they win possession, they uncoil so quickly.
Excellent way to put it, sir. They uncoil really quickly.
Here's Demario Phillips. Played down to Anglin. Interville with space on that right-hand side. First touch inside the box. Plays it across. And behind. A goal kick. Maybe the first time in this contest that Interville has had a little bit of space to roam on that right-hand side.
Yeah, again, there's a tendency really to play or try to play on this left side with Green. But for us to have any success on this side, Renato, Mount Pleasant will have to bring more numbers, whether it's a midfielder to come and support Green, because once he picks the ball up, the Waterhouse players, the Waterhouse midfielders and defenders are collapsing on him.
And just looking at this setup, I understand it, but Waterhouse, through Colorado Murray, Denardo Thomas, and Barrow, the goal scorer, they seem to pin the Mount Pleasant backline whenever the ball is in Waterhouse's defensive unit. So Mount Pleasant can't press that much.
No. You press at your peril.
And they have shown that they're dangerous in transition. Here's Demario Phillips. Thomas looking for options, not presenting themselves. Phillips. And they've fallen into that trap, Mount Pleasant. And ball played to Green. Chips this one forward. Anglin goes on the run. Dyer does well. It comes to Warner Brown. Gets it out to Interville. First touch, not the best. Forced to go back. Picked up by Thomas. Ball inside to Brown, who got a nudge from behind, and the referee says free kick just outside the area.
And those are the sorts of passes we want to see from Clifford Thomas. Instead of side to side, playing in that CDM position, you need line-breaking passes in. And of course, if it's controlled properly, the defender will tend to foul or will hold the ball up for other players to come in. Certainly, this is a free kick. Ronaldo in a nice area.
And the options here, Gadale Irving, left-footed. Daniel Green had that free kick in the first half against Gardens that was brilliantly saved. And you can look to Fitzroy Cummings. Don't look for any curl in that shot from Cummings. It will be driven fiercely. So who will take this one? Irving over it, left-footed. Ming joins the party. I guess only for information purposes.
Distraction, really.
Could be Irving here. Reggie Williams is taken short to Ming. Goes across the area. You know, they fooled even us. It was well worked.
Most certainly. Most certainly. Well worked.
Corner kick as a result for Mount Pleasant. And will be Irving who will go over to take it. Waterhouse with that early lead. Strike from Barrow. Ball bend inside. Headed up. Not out. Headed further out. Back to Irving. Goes all the way back to Phillips. Has to be careful, Demario Phillips. Got a couple of touches. Will be a goal kick. So something that promised so much. Really giving nothing at all for Mount Pleasant. Coach Theodore Whitmore will be disappointed with that. As Williams goes down, give the Waterhouse medical staff an opportunity to go onto the park and the coaches to have a few words with a couple of players. Has it panned out the way you thought, Richard?
Even better than I thought, because we talked about the 3-4-3, and now that I'm assessing, I think they're actually rotating through a 3-5-2. And so there is, here come the two center forwards, Murray
and Barrow.
And they're playing up top. And the five, they form into a three in attack, and the two outside backs are coming forward and creating numbers and problems for Mount Pleasant. The youngster Berger played for Jamaica College this year, and is playing that role very well because it requires you to go back and forth. So if you notice that he's back behind Green, and then as soon as they win the ball, he springs. I like the way you put it, the recoil, and they're gone. So it's numbers that's going to get you behind the back line, and we have to bring some numbers into these areas. In terms, you saw us have a combination play, and the ball went out from Green. It's numbers that's going to get through their numbers at the back, because they're overloading on this side defensively.
Yeah, and what we've seen with Waterhouse is that they allow the Mount Pleasant players to play the ball in the back line between Ming and Cummings and at times Irving. And whenever the fullback, whether it be Irving or Demario Phillips, moves into midfield, Leacock steps up, Godina steps up, Leonardo Thomas comes back, and they allow them to play, and they form a triangle in the center circle to say, play through us. So Mount Pleasant, for the most part, they've been forced to use the wings or go with the ball over the top.
And when you come to the wings, it's a funnel, because then they have three defenders that are coming to block up. So sometimes it's difficult to play out of those areas. So let's hope that we'll figure this out tactically. But so far, it's been a very good game.
And Mount Pleasant will have to figure it out tactically. Cummings heads this one out, gets it to Leacock. Here's Berger, who has played well. And Barrow, looking for Colorado Murray. Irving gets it, looking for Warner Brown. Dyer, the ever-present Dyer. Flicked on by Irving. And Irving goes down under the chat of Dyer. And the referee obliges. It's a free kick to Mount Pleasant just in front of their bench. Taken quickly. Here's Thomas. Hasn't been given a lot of space as he enjoyed in that last game against Arnett Gardens. Here's what I'm talking about. So the ball is played back to Ming. Here's Interville. Campbell and Amos have done well against Interville, not giving him room. Irving. Ball played over the top for Green. Not
They're
this,
actually
Daniel Green.
They're defending in their own half in a 1-4-5. So they have the one man up top, which is usually Barrow, and Murray drops into 4, and then the defensive line has 5. So you have to bring numbers to get through them.
And if you look at when they have the goal kick, as you see here, Leacock picks it up in the center circle, plays it back. Oh, problems. And could get Warner Brown here, who gets in. Edwards, what a save! That was a goal for all money. Warner Brown steered the goal. Roger Williams coming up trumps for his team.
I'm in two minds on that. Great save, goalkeeper. But in my opinion, Warner Brown should have finished that.
Have to score those.
Yeah, you need to score those. But I give the goalkeeper his credit that he never gave up on the play, which is very, very important. And preserve the lead for Waterhouse.
A rare mistake from Paul at the back, the number 33. But good hustle. There will be a card here for Jay that's been applauded by the spectators. Good hustle from Warner Brown initially, and then to have the presence of mind to play the ball on the outside. Raheem Edwards rolling it across goal. As a striker, that's your bread and butter.
Yes.
But I guess Warner Brown is watching his cholesterol levels. Should have been 1-1. Ball played out.
If there's anything to be critical about this Waterhouse team, is that their center backs aren't playing very, very well. They're prone to mistakes. Paul is just coming back into some form because prior to this, he was out of the team. He had started the season very well. He has quite a bit of quality. But I've seen at least 2 or 3 mistakes from the backs.
Here's Thomas. Good work from Campbell. Interville comes back. The ball played forward. Paul does well. And then that time, Anklin was robbed from Godino. A real fighter, hustler in the middle of the park, Godino. And Leacock is the presence in there to keep the game flowing. And when you talk about the center backs, Paul, the number 33, Dyer tucks in, Amos, the number 4, and that left-hand side tucks in. Berger does well. Charge down. Will be a throw-in, won't be a corner.
Berger is working really hard and providing a lot of support, both defensively and in attack for this Waterhouse team on this right side. He's been a handful, especially going forward. He's doing a pretty good job, I think, for a youngster just coming out of our schoolboy football season.
I see the long throw being employed here. A good one. Ming does well, flicked on. Warner Brown trying to control it. Will come all the way over to Campbell, the captain. I don't think that ball is coming back.
No. Yeah, not the best decision, I think, from their captain.
Chambers was seeing something that Cummings wasn't seeing because Raheem Edwards had made a run. I think Chambers wanted to go long towards Edwards. Cummings, though, went far right. It's Anglin.
In the absence of building out of the back, Ronaldo, if we're going to play that direct ball up the top, it has to be precise, or we have to have players in place for the second ball. But we're not doing that either, so we're tending to turn the ball over to this Waterhouse team.
Nice little flick there from Thomas. Camper dispossessed. They're looking for a foul. Warner Brown leaves it to Edwards. Gets it back. Warner Brown, ball over the top. Not the greatest. Jay Williams calls for it and claims it easily. Needed a better touch there, Warner Brown. Maybe had some time. Campbell is down still, by the way. Now they're calling the physio, doctors on the park to attend to Campbell. The assistant referee held up the flag. And by the way, in other games around the league, it's 1-1 between Treasure Beach and Arnett Gardens. Game being played down there at Stets. And there are 6 games on in the league currently. And Racing United leading Portmore United by 1-0 in the, you call it a Portmore derby. And Racing United, they've been drawing a lot of games. Dunbeholden, 3-0 over Harborview. Harborview, remember, in midweek led 3-0 over Treasure Beach, only to lose 4-3. And then Malines United holding a 1-goal advantage over Spanish Town Police. Malines United with the advantage in terms of the attacking advantage in that game. So some of the scores from around the league. And Montego Bay United 1-0 over Chapperton Maroons. A game that, you know, was really exciting coming in. Chapperton Maroons, they've been on a really good run. One of the form teams in the league before they met up on that Waterhouse in that 1-0 defeat. I think the surprise there is Dunbeholden 3-0 over Harborview. Remember, Vassar Reynolds came in and did well in the first couple of games. Was trying to steer a sinking ship. This game has resumed.
The goalkeeper just kicked the ball and it hit Edwards, hit Warner Brown in the back.
If you are to be fair, the chances that Mount Pleasant have created, apart from that beautiful sequence of one-touches, has really been the mistakes from Waterhouse. Here's Campbell on the far side. Looks up, ball inside the area. Ming does well and clears downfield. Amos circling. Not the greatest of touches, but gets it to the captain. Leacock back to Amos. Interville heads it on. Paul, high boot there from Warner Brown. The assistant referee didn't flag, but the referee said that's a foul. Warner Brown disagreeing.
I think the centre back for Waterhouse deliberately put his head there, which is dangerous and smart at the same time, because he would get the call. You'd have to say he's courageous, and he's got a free kick for his team.
So you're saying it's low head as opposed to high boot? It's an interesting toss of Borough up against Fitzroy Cummings. That should be hands. The referee allows it to go on. Here's Clifford Thomas, not allowed to come out. And this is what Waterhouse have done really well, is to apply pressure in Mount Pleasant's defensive third. Not allowing the likes of Clifford Thomas and Jashawn Anglin to come out of defense with any freedom.
And significantly, it's not single pressure. It's sometimes double and triple.
Edwards does well. Gets it to Warner Brown, who looks up, plays it wide right. DeMario Phillips cuts inside. Anglin picks up possession, twisting and turning, looking for options. There's Cummings. No Ming. Not a lot of options. Warner Brown does well, but doing even better was Paul. Now they come out of defense with Murray. I saw the intention there from Murray because Thomas made the run. Murray finds himself on the left-hand side now. Interville does well, does really well.
I must say, Murray fell, and that does not look good for him at all. I think he may have done something to his knee.
And Warner Brown slipping there. Murray's down, has that strapping on those legs, and the referee calls on the medical team from Waterhouse. He looks in some real pain.
It's like we said before, though, this is a very tactical game. And if you know football. Football is a numbers game as well. So in attack or in defense, Waterhouse will always have between 7 or 8 players once the ball comes over their half. It's going to be important for Mount Pleasant to have numbers as well as being in strategic positions, like playing between the lines and being able to break the lines for Mount Pleasant to be able to get a goal. Certainly we've created maybe 2 or 3 opportunities. One certainly that should have been finished. But this Waterhouse team definitely is playing better defensively. And that's just because of the system and the commitment to the system that these players have.
Mount Pleasant, they'll have to dig deep here. Richard Henry. Waterhouse momentarily down to 10. Colorado Murray off the field. For their sake, you hope that he's okay and will be able to continue.
He's walking and not limping, so.
Has had his battles with injured Colorado Murray over the years. Ball played in the box. Gadale Irving heads it up but not out. Now he heads it out, gets it to Daniel Green, who has been marshaled well. Maybe this is Mount Pleasant's best player on the park, Raheem Edwards. And ball played inside. Now it's with Anglin. Gets it to Warner Brown. Was looking for the one-time pass to Daniel Green. Mott read that one well, Waterhouse, and cleared. And the throw-in. This one flicked on. Rafa interval. Speeds inside the box. Cut out by Paul. Plays it downfield. Ming picks it up. Phillips inside to Anglin. Mount Pleasant maybe enjoy their best spell with possession. Ball all the way out on the left-hand side to Green, who gives it up to Godino, who calmly plays it to Leacock, who gets it to Burrow, and just like that, Waterhouse are on the attack through Colorado Murray. Not sure what Murray's looking for. Plays it now to Burrow, the goal scorer, plays it across. Behind it will be a goal kick, but Waterhouse again transitions so quick and so well.
And critical to that transition is Burrow, because when the ball is played into him, he immediately and instinctively, Ronaldo, plays that ball out to the flank and makes a run inside.
Here's Cummings. Plays it to Anglin. All the way back to the skipper, Kyle Ming. Looking for options. And again, Waterhouse setting the trap. Pressing when they need to. Now to Green with space to Edwards, laid off. Here's Edwards. Brilliant work from Campbell coming back.
And again, benefiting Ronaldo from the numbers at the back for Campbell to come across and make that clearance. But good build-up play by Mount Pleasant and beginning to find some openings.
Clifford Thomas, the long throw inside the box. Williams called, didn't claim. Ball booted down to Demario Phillips. Twisting and turning Phillips. Looking for options. Gets it to Anglin. Back to Phillips. No pass. Here's Waterhouse with Barry in a dangerous position. Thomas on his bike on the outside. Cuts inside. Irving coming back. Godina picks it up. Now to Campbell. To Murray on that left-hand side. Waterhouse with the numbers going forward. Mount Pleasant, they've done well in getting back. Interville wins it. Then Campbell steals it away from Phillips. All the way back now to Amos. And Godina trying to settle the game. And that's the last bit of action. First half. And first half that promised some goalmouth action, delivered some goalmouth action, but it is Burroughs' strike, early strike, brilliant strike that separates teams at the halfway stage. And Mount Pleasant, they've huffed, they're puffed. No blowing down of the House of Waterhouse just yet. As the players leave the park, and we'll dig deep into the first half analysis with the analyst Richard Henry. Mount Pleasant trailing 1-0. Waterhouse leading 1-0. Not the score that the supporters from here in St. Ann would want, but if you're a traveling supporter, you're really happy with that first 45 minutes. Mount Pleasant didn't have much going forward. Waterhouse picking their moments. That strike is deserving of any league, in any league.
Yeah, I think in the balance of the game, it isn't as if Waterhouse is, they were outplayed and then got a goal. I think they've given as much as we have given to them, or probably even more. I think I'm very impressed with how compact they are in setup defensively. And because of the way that they're set up defensively, it also aids them in springing forward when they do win the ball. The new system that they're playing has to have a commitment to fitness, because they're all over the place. They're doubling, they're tripling, they're supporting each other. And that's throwing Mount Pleasant off a bit in terms of having space and room to play. Certainly Mount Pleasant will have to bring numbers as they come forward. And of course, if there's one fault, there's a gap between the defensive line for Waterhouse and the midfield line in terms of when they're attacking. So we have to come and play in that space between them to be able to advance the ball.
Yeah, looking at Mount Pleasant, what do they change going into the second half? Because so far, Interville, who has offered width on the right-hand side, and Daniel Green, who has offered width on the left-hand side, they haven't been in the game. The real chances that Daniel Green has managed to produce is when he comes back to offer himself in defense and then breaks. Do they know, if you're Coach Theodore Tapper Whitmore, do you know, ask Daniel Green and Rafa Interval to maybe play inside to try and overload the midfield, and ask Gadale Irving and Demario Phillips to maybe overlap?
Well, that probably should have been what was happening in the first half anyway. But because of how this Waterhouse team is playing, Irving and Phillips have been staying home a lot more than we would have liked or have seen them in the past. I think the only way that you combat their numbers is with more numbers. And so our midfielders have to come and support as well. They're blocking the middle of the park, but when we have the ball, we need to have more outlet passes to be able to break even through their first line. I guarantee you, Renata, if we break their first line, we will be able to break the second line, because they're not very organized between the defensive line and the second line. But the problem is they bring so many numbers and block you up on the first line that we're losing the ball or playing it long, and then their defenders are winning the ball and coming forward again.
Yeah, so it is Waterhouse who lead the game by a 0-0 goal scored early by Barr, the new signing. How impressed were you with him in that first half?
You're talking about Barrow, right?
Yeah.
Very impressed, but I'm watching him, and he's sort of predictable as well, because you can see him, he likes the ball, he'll play it to the center, but he's going to play it out, and then he's going to make a run inside. It's typical of a center forward, because then he has room to either run off the shoulder of the center back and get in front of him, or the ball will beat the center back and he'll be there. So he's very intelligent, he's very smart. I can see why he scored so many goals in that Guyanese league. And he's going to be a handful here. I mean, you have to do proper defending with him. He has a lot of physicality as well. But I think for me, most of all, that left foot looks lethal, because that was an excellent goal.
Yeah. Roger Williams has been the busier of the two goalkeepers in that first half. Pulled off 3 really good saves. One of them, the chance from Warner Brown that you and I believe should have been better. The game should have been 1-1. It was an easy tap-in. Warner Brown been playing as if he's a forward short of confidence. That goal would have done him a world of good. But if you're Mount Pleasant and you're looking at that, and you're looking at Warner Brown needing a goal, Raheem Edwards has probably been their best player in that first half. How do you now set up to kind of ensure that Warner Brown is not isolated by himself against 2 and 3 defenders? Because Dyer and Paul, they've played well.
Yeah, I mean, some of the balls, too, that I see us playing over the top. If you're playing the ball over the top to Warner Brown, the center-back is actually taller than him. So 9 times out of 10, he's going to win. The center-back is going to win that ball. It's about how we play into him and what we do when we play, what he does when we play into him. we don't need for him always to control the ball. He may take one touch and move, and we have to have the midfielders coming. So once you play into him, you have to come and support. For him to hold the ball up and then get crowded by 2 or 3 persons is going to be problematic for him. So the support is the important thing, and our movement on the pitch is what I think Coach Whitmore should talk about.
Yeah, by the way, there are some other games going on around the league. Richard would provide me with the scores in that game. At one stage, Dunbeholden were leading Harborview by 3-0 after 43 minutes. Montego Bay United, so it's halftime in those games. So it's Racing United 1-0 over Portmore United at halftime. It's still 3-0 at halftime. Dunbeholden over Harborview. 1-1 between Malines United and Spanish Town Police. Malines United actually got the opening goal in that contest. Of course, Waterhouse leading us by 1-0. Montego Bay United maintain that 1-goal lead over Chapperton Maroons, who lost their last game against Waterhouse. And then Treasure Beach and Arnett Gardens, a game being played at Stets. That game is 1-1 at halftime as well. And then a little bit later on, Cavalier will be in action against Tivoli Gardens with a kickoff at about 5:30. But right here at the Draxall Sports Complex, it's Waterhouse who leads Mount Pleasant Football Academy by 1-0 at halftime. We're breaking down the first half. Before they come back out, Richard Henry, in terms of Waterhouse and Javier Einstein and his team, do you say more of the same coming out in the second half, or what do you change, if anything?
Well, certainly on the Waterhouse side, I don't think they'll change anything. I think they'll be pleased, but for a few times that Mount Pleasant was able to play through them. Again, I come back to, for Mount Pleasant, we have to bring the numbers. We have to bring the numbers in support, because they're bringing the numbers in terms of defending, and the only way to play through them. I'll give you an example, Ronaldo. If Green has the ball and 3 or 2 players collapse on him, there must be a numerical advantage somewhere else on the pitch. So it's about how we play out of that quickly to be able to break that line and to move forward. And that's something that we can do, again, with players coming in support.
Yeah, of course, Mount Pleasant won their last game against Arnett Gardens by 1-0 on Thursday night. They play Arnett Gardens again right here at the Draxall Sports Complex on a Wednesday with a 3 p.m. kickoff. So you can, of course, come and join us here at the Draxall Sports Complex for that game. It's expected to be a cracker. But before they even get to that one, they have this one to sort out, because they need points here to move up the table and at least maintain that 4th spot, but looking to close the gap on the top 2, especially with Montego Bay United leading 1-0 over Chapperton Maroons at halftime, and Racing United leading Portmore United, who are the 3rd place team, leading Portmore United by 1-0. So much. And right here at Draxall on match days, of course, you can enjoy the VIP area for $2,500, food and drinks included. And it's upstairs, beautiful view. You have actual designated parking for your VIPs here at the Draxall Sports Complex. Matchday magazine is up for offer. You can get those free of cost. You can advertise in the Matchday magazines as well, and you can also win gate prizes. So just come on down and watch the game. I know you're enjoying it from wherever you're watching it from now, but you can come down on the match days. As I said before, that Mount Pleasant will be back here on Wednesday at 3 p.m. against the Arnett Gardens in the Jamaica Premier League, and it should be a very interesting game. Of course, Mount Pleasant, they have their debut in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. They won the Caribbean Cup, and they will play either Sporting MS from Panama, or they will play LA Galaxy, the most successful MLS franchise, with the likes of Ricky Puig from Spain and former Borussia Dortmund star German Marco Reus. And it will be at the National Stadium, the return leg on March 19 at the National Stadium. The first leg will be played away on March 11. But that's it from us from the halftime show. The next time you hear our voice, it will be second half action. It is Mount Pleasant up against Waterhouse. Waterhouse, they lead this contest by 1-0 at halftime. Goal scored by Burrow. And that's it for a halftime show. So Waterhouse getting things going early, making a couple of substitutions. Roberto Quiros comes in, the number 24 for Waterhouse. And also young Bicknell comes in as well. So Waterhouse, surprising. Richard Henry Waterhouse making a couple of changes. And they've taken out
Amos.
Goodin. Yeah, and they've taken out the number 4 Amos as well. As Demario Phillips, ball played through. As Daniel Green, interval is there. Daniel Green, twisting and turning, goes down. The referee says, get up. Interville was offering himself on the left-hand side. Green is still down. Burrow does well. I told you, Richard Henry, I like the battle between Burrow and Fitzroy Cummings. So I reckon is one of the better defenders in the Jamaica Premier League. And Burrow, based on what I've seen so far, new signing for Waterhouse, might very much become one of the better strikers in the Jamaica Premier League for the remainder of the season. Good acquisition for Waterhouse.
Most certainly. And he is, I mean, you can't just judge on one game, but what we're seeing now, if that continues, he's going to cause a lot of problems for defenders in the league.
And Daniel Green had the opportunity to play in Rafa interval and then to play the ball across, but decided to take on the Waterhouse defenders. He's gone down. Maybe the better option was Rafa Interville.
Or a shot. And it would have been difficult, I think, because that was, I think, on his left side. And I think his better foot is the right foot. I think
better foot is the right foot.
So I am understanding why he didn't shoot, but you are right. Playing for that penalty, I think, would have been a more difficult option rather than look for a pass inside or outside.
But what I picked up from that play alone, Richard Henry, is that the two substitutes who came on, one at centre-back, Kiras, and Bicknell in the middle of the park, doesn't seem as if they're really up to the pace of the game. I know the game has just started, but for the first time that I can remember in this game, the ball was passed directly through the heart of the Waterhouse midfield.
Well, let's see how Bicknell fits into this scheme. I know he's there mainly for his defensive qualities. And so you'll notice that Leacock will play a little bit higher than he's been playing since the start of the game.
And Daniel Green plays it to Interville. By the way, we had missed the Mount Pleasant substitute turn. We didn't remind you because Moni Bailey is on the park. Rafa Interville, what a blood that was. The substitute showing why he's on the field. Kiros, what an introduction.
Yeah, most certainly. Way to follow that ball as well and slide down as the centre back. Again, though, let's give credit to Mount Pleasant because it's a good combination play to get Interville into that position. And this certainly is, Renato, a lot better from Mount Pleasant at the start of this half.
Yeah, I did say, and I thought it was Gadale Irvin. It's actually Warner Brown who came off. Kimoni Bailey operating on the right-hand side. Ball played to the back post. It's that man again, Kiros. And Narda Thomas with pace, with composure. And go all the way back to his goalkeeper, Tafari Chambers. Overcast condition. Played long downfield. And dealt with. Now Thomas. Bicknell wins the header. Clifford Thomas again with that big boot. And Bicknell with the foul on Daniel Green.
Actually, I should correct myself. Amos isn't off. Amos is still on the pitch. He's on the right side.
I'll get it from the producer, the confirmation. It's probably Berger.
It is Berger that is off the pitch.
I'm also Waterhouse going with a out-and-out back five. Here's Kimoni Bailey, the substitute that came on for Warner Brown. As Joshua Anglin finds himself on the right-hand side. That one was cut out by Thomas, and then Leacock has to be careful. Sean Anglin. Leacock, good footwork, which means that Rhyme Edwards is an out-and-out striker for Mount Pleasant now. Daniel Green going into that number 10 position, only operating from the right-hand side. And they've also switched Rafa Interville to the left-hand side. So boot it downfield. Ming wins the header. Thomas wins the second ball. A second header from Bicknell. Ball played through, looking for Thomas. And birthday boy Kyle Ming shields it to the goalkeeper. Here's the Mario Phillips. Looking for options. And goes all the way back to Ming. Kimoni Bailey has been on the bike in acres of space on the right-hand side. Now to Thomas. The Mario Phillips goes into midfield. And to maybe overload. Here's Bicknell. Dispossessed. Edwards to interview. Looking for Anglin. Has the space. Here's Irving. All played to Phillips. The two fullbacks inside the center circle. Here's Bailey. Lovely ball to Green. Twisting and turning. Looking for space. The less said about that, the better.
Yeah, I think you could see him rushing to get that shot off. Created space for himself, but a little bit, I think, impatient in preparing himself for that shot. But a lot more possession here by Mount Pleasant. I think in the first half, it was 53 to 47% possession for Mount Pleasant.
And then building themselves a possession-based team, Mount Pleasant. Panamanian, Piron. No Panamanian has the flag on his wrist. Shot there from Ming on Barrow. Came off Barrow. It's a kick. Kind of a mismatch in terms of body type, Ming and Barrow. In terms of physicality, yes. They're both right up there. Kyle Ming very physical. Can play right as well, right full back. Very good in a back three. Oh, that's some great work there from Barrow. Showed his power and his ability to score, showing his skill there. Dispossessed. Green all the way back. Now to Irving. Then to Cummings. Rather Ming. Ball over the top to Kimoni Bailey. Kiras and Bailey. 12 and 24. Kira showing that he's twice a man of Kimoni Bailey.
Has come on and given a fairly good account of himself so far. My understanding is that he's been here for at least 2 weeks training. And so far looks to fit into the system for Waterhouse. And one other thing I like about him, he's very vocal. He talks a lot about what's going on the pitch, which helps his teammates.
Irving does a smart thing. Heads it back to his goalkeeper. And gets it now to Kyle Ming. Kimoni Bailey. Campbell does well. Campbell lengthening his stride. Demario Phillips comes back, and then there's the two captains clash. And a foul, the result of it. Ball played forward to Anglin. And I'm a little bit surprised, no, looking at it, Waterhouse, that they're going to try and defend the 1-goal lead away against the Caribbean champions. If they do, it's a brilliant result and it's a genius move. If they don't, you're going to question the substitutions early so far. And Kinos, tremendous. What would have been his second goal for the club. Here is Barrow, tries to get by Cummings. And it's a corner kick, the result. So Waterhouse with an opportunity now to get numbers in the box.
I am actually very impressed to Ronaldo with the footwork of Barrow for a big man. He moves his feet fairly well and can get himself out of situations where defenders are close on him. And that's going to be an asset for him as well, because it's sort of unexpected when he plays himself out of those situations.
So it will be Kimani Campbell to take this corner kick in swinger. Demario Phillips at the front post. Carl Ming is there. Waterhouse with height. Good ball. It's almost a free header. Colorado Murray was lurking. Kimoni Bailey heads this one out. Comes to Thomas, Clifford Thomas. Free kick taken quite quickly. Now, Kimani Campbell, now to Leacock. Turning well. And ball's position given away. Possession just too easily given away. Angling inside to Thomas. Back to Bailey. Played all the way back now to Cummings. More pleasant play from right to left. Thomas. Inside, plays it back to Ming. Now to Demario Phillips. Plays it to Kimoni Bailey. And does well. Gives away a corner kick. But again, following the play. Right into the box.
Yeah, but those are the players that we want to see from Mount Pleasant in terms of that ball being played over into that space and beating the second line and getting to the first line where it's played outside for a corner. We have to be able to be more progressive and direct when we're playing. They're setting up in a block of four, and two up front.
Irving to deliver this one inside the box. They're queuing up. That's a good delivery, you know. The goalkeeper came flat at it. Demario Phillips puts it back inside the area. It comes to Cummings. Was in an offside position.
Would not have counted. Nonetheless, not a bad idea from Demario Phillips to display that ball, up that ball back in, see what happens.
As a Waterhouse player down. Mount Pleasant certainly enjoying more of the ball in the second half. But again, they need to convert some of those half opportunities into chances that they can get a goal back. Waterhouse have not scored more than one goal in a game since September 2025. That's a long time ago. New head coach, Javier Einstein. One win to his name so far. A number of draws. That one win came in his last game. We'll tell you that this is the start of something special. He's leading the Caribbean Cup holders. Maybe it could be, just maybe. Ming wins the header. Bailey gives up possession. Edwards hustles well. Green hounded. Bicknell escapes with the ball. Leacock protects the ball well. Anglin looking for a space. Goes all the way back to Kiros, who boots it out. A throw to be taken quickly. They thought about it. Wasn't going to be taken from the right spot. As Demario Phillips now goes all the way back to Cummings. A very good ball playing centre back as well. Mount Pleasant getting a couple of substitutions ready. One of them is a academy player with so much. Here's a ball chipped forward. Too much on it. Jay Williams very confidently comes forward to collect. Brian is also getting ready. For Waterhouse, that is.
Signaling the coach's intent on still trying to get a goal. and not just playing defensively.
Ball played forward and cleared by Paul. Only to Demario Phillips. Twisting and turning. Almost took his entire top there. Anklin plays it all the way over to Interville, who is onside. Irving went for the overlap. Bicknell wins possession. Protects it. Plays it to Amos. This one came off Interville. Barrow picks it up. Calmly gives it to Leacock, who plays it over to Thomas. Flicks and tricks now from Waterhouse. Gets to the Campbell. Captain Kimani Campbell. Colorado Murray picks it up with space. Now to Thomas. Cuts inside on his right boot. Goes all the way back to Bicknell, who is sitting just in front of that back three, if you may. Now to Dyer. Boots it long. Again, Barrow does well. Irving does better. Plays it all the way back to his goalkeeper, though. Now to Thomas. Clifford Thomas. Anklin. Irving. Thomas in space. Green presents himself short for it. Dispossessed. Not his best position, Daniel Green. And there's a foul there on Dyer. And maybe an opportunity to make the substitutions now. Coach Theodore Whitmore. And attacking substitutions being made. The academy player, Owen Jump, who scored that equalizing goal against Montego Bay United on match day 1 right here at Draxall. And Alex Marshall, who started the season well, especially Caribbean Cup, and then fell off. I'm looking to get back sharp, and maybe surprising, it is Jashawn Anglin who comes out. And Daniel Green. Not surprised about Daniel Green, but surprised about Anglin. Now Anglin replaced by Jump. He will go into that position. And the switch will be Bailey will go over to the left-hand side. Right. Interville will come over to the right-hand side where he started. But this man, number 29 for Waterhouse, has put in a tremendous shift and has given his team a deserved lead. Neron Barrow. As the ball played into the box, Demario Phillips gets beaten. Comes to Campbell, charged down. Did that come back off Campbell? A referee says it's a corner kick for Waterhouse.
Certainly. Barrow has introduced himself well to the league. I'm sure that the next opponents for Waterhouse will take a look at this game, especially the goal that he scored, and understand that that left foot is lethal, and if given space and time, he can put it in that top corner.
So the corner kick, Thomas will go over to take it. It's a poor one. And the clearance is also poor. Comes back to Thomas, the second opportunity. And another poor delivery. Ball played over the top. Trying to deal with it. It was dealt with, but not in the way the house would have liked. A first touch for Owen Jump. Goes all the way back to his goalkeeper, Chambers, who takes a touch by Brian. And the clearance headed out by Bicknell. Marshall gets his first touch. Here's Bailey now operating on that left-hand side. Gets it to Goodale Irving. Wheels one. Puts it on his left favored right boot. Interville. That could be a goal kick. It's a corner kick. I certainly heard two sounds. Let's see what the referee will do. The assistant referee says corner. And Kimani Campbell has to be careful confronting the assistant referee. And it's Gail, the first assistant. Goodale Irving here to deliver this one inside the box. The last corner kick provided an opportunity for Mount Pleasant. What will happen now? Goes to the front post. Not dealt with properly, but Waterhouse gets the opportunity to clear. Demario Phillips with time. Plays it back into the box and goes over the top for a goal kick. Had some time, Demario Phillips could have taken that one down and looked for a better pass.
Possibly, but had some Waterhouse players advancing to him. Any miscontrol of that ball would have been truly problematic. But yeah, if he could control it dead to his feet, we'd have had an opportunity to spread the ball around.
Williams, who maybe challenging Borough for player of the game so far, through outstanding saves to keep his team in it. Mount Pleasant really haven't offered much. And that one opportunity at the start of the second half, and nothing really going forward. Gadale Irving recently made his 50th appearance for the club. In the Premier League, here's Alex Marshall, gets it to Demario Phillips, or so he thought. Phillips allowing it to run. Here's Marshall to Thomas. Back to Ming. Gets it to jump. First touch, not the cleanest. Now Cummings. And jump. All the way over. Gives it away to Thomas. That's a dangerous ball. Not the greatest first touch from Denardo Thomas. Jump, wins it back. And is back with Waterhouse through Kiros. There's a no-nonsense defender. Is not going to play around. He's going to clear it. Here's the captain, Ming. Loads of time.
Ronaldo, if you just look at the space between the midfield line and the defensive line, there's space for us to play.
Ball played over the top. Kiros deals with it, and again, he's not going to dwell on the ball.
He's a good tackler, header of the ball, but we can see that his use of the ball may be something he has to work on.
At this stage, Waterhouse, they don't mind.
Not at all.
They just want the ball to be downfield. Here's Cummings. Uses Bailey on the left. Bailey comes in. Back to Cummings. All the way back to Ming. And Waterhouse, the shape of Waterhouse is very good. Leacock cuts it out. Alex Marshall fighting for it. Could be called back for a foul. It is called back for a foul. And will we see the first yellow card of the game? The first yellow card will go to the captain of the Mount Pleasant team. It's not a present, as he presents the birthday boy with a yellow card. Another substitution to be made by Mount Pleasant. Rafa Interville coming out. And Ronaldo Biggs made his comeback from injury on Thursday night against Arnett Gardens. And get some more minutes. Free kick taken short. Thomas back to Leacock. And back to Thomas. A ball out on the left-hand side to Campbell. Charged down by Thomas. Clifford Thomas. Ball inside. Flicked on. Here is Campbell. A chance for Waterhouse. That's a wonderful save. Could have played it across the goal. Cut through the Mount Pleasant defense like hot knife through butter.
Would have actually been the smarter thing to do. Play it across the goal, but former Mount Pleasant player. I have seen his name in the headline scoring against his former team.
And Bicknell tees this one up. Chambers calls for it. Biggs goes on a run. Plays it on the opposite side. Raheem Edwards gives chase. And the goalkeeper, Williams, and takes him out. Everyone asking for a foul. The referee will not be duped into anything. It will be a goal kick. Paul having a discussion with his goalkeeper, asking him what was that for. Head coach pointing to his head. And keep your heads, fellow. And see Dodie, the goalkeeper coach, he's up off of the bench as well. There's Alex Marshall, great first touch, a better second touch. Biggs, who gets his first touch, as Kiros to contend with. Plays it inside, that's a dangerous ball, it's cleared by Paul.
It's a good sign, very deceptive. We know he uses that left foot. Everyone is looking for him to cut inside, but he's able to also square that ball with his right foot. Good work from Biggs.
To tee this one up again from this right hand side. It's Irving. Oh, that was a chance. Uncontested header from Raheem Edwards. Gets underneath the ball and spoons it over the bar for a goal kick.
Didn't jump high enough to be able to get over that ball, but certainly fantastic cross. Uncontested header, like you said.
So another clear opportunity for Mount Pleasant. Still they trail 1-0. Ming wins the header. He normally does. Biggs does well. Gets wrapped on the legs, goes down in pain. And wins his team a free kick. They're urging him to get back up. Here's Biggs again. Being very direct, Ronaldo Biggs. This time Leacock. And these two come together again. The second time in maybe 30 seconds.
My difficulty with Biggs is that Leacock had his back to our goal and facing his goal. You have to allow sometimes players to play their way out of that situation rather than giving them a free kick and a get out of jail free card. You know, just let him play his way out. We may win the ball there.
Now Williams comes all the way over to the left-hand side of Waterhouse defense to take this free kick and boots it long downfield. And I'm going to stop saying Ming wins the header because that's usually the case. I'll just say Ming. Back to Gadale Irving. As Alex Marshall. Here's jump. Almost got it there to Kimoni Bailey. It's back with jump. A poor touch. Throw.
This Waterhouse team as well, Ronaldo, has gotten a little bit indisciplined defensively in terms of the defensive shape and compactness. I think that's allowing Mount Pleasant to have more space to play even on the outside and bringing the wingbacks up the field in support, but it hasn't borne any fruit yet.
Here's Brian. Hasn't called his name a lot since coming on. Leacock calmly plays it all the way back to his goalkeeper. There's nothing calm about that clearance. It's Gadale Irving now. Referee saying that you're stealing a couple of yards, Gadale Irving, not because you had your 50th appearance for the club, means that you're going to get away with it. Clifford Thomas comes deep to link up play and gives away possession. Dyer. Here is Alex Marshall, had his pocket picked. Possession given away again. Ming does well. Campbell deceived by the turn of the ball. Here's the Mario Phillips, finds himself in strange spaces as a right fullback. And again, Kiras does well.
Those are the runs that we want from Phillips to be able to unbalance this back line from Waterhouse. And
during the reception, that would have played a pass. A live wire Bempo. And also Portmore United as well. So here's Gadale Irving. There's a in the box. Another corner kick. They've looked dangerous on these corner kicks. Gadale Irving goes to the back post this time. Ming goes up. Alex Marshall gets it all the way back to Clifford Thomas. Thomas drives it, deflects. Cleared by Paul. Edwards shoved off it by Amos. Alex Marshall wins it. Colorado Murray showing more fight. Plays it back. Leacock has it, looking for the touch. I reckon that Biggs has to be careful. That's another foul on Leacock. That's the second. Referee's book. The substitution will be made here. Bem will be introduced at the expense of Colorado Murray. So an attacker for an attacker.
It shows that the coach is still very much intent on taking the attack as well to Mount Pleasant. I just give some credit though, Renato, to the Leacock. He definitely played for that foul to be able to get his team some time and a breather because Mount Pleasant has been having quite a bit of the ball.
It's proven to be a smart play as well. Back. It gets by one and goes down again. No foul this time. And manhandled. And maybe a little bit surprised that there's no card produced by the referee this time. Play goes on. Poor touch from Biggs. Wins a throw. Taking it quickly. Gives it away to Kuros again. Out for a throw-in. Has to be careful. Weak the elbow there, Kuros. And now the referee will have a word to with him. Now the assistant referee. Now this is interesting. The assistant referee is having a word with Kuros and a yellow card produced to the number 24. And maybe lucky. Had that caught DeMario Phillips, it could have been red.
Yeah, there's actually no need for that. But we can see the other game right now. The players.
The ball back to Ming. To Cummings. All the way over to Kimoni Bailey in some space, but closed down by Amos. Benbow gets involved and wins possession and wins a foul. And you hear the reaction from the home supporters.
So this Waterhouse team now is defensively just sitting in a low block. Giving a lot of space in between the lines to play. Mount Pleasant is just not playing in between those lines.
In all fairness, they haven't been able to break down blocks. It's been a challenge for them this season. We saw it against Racing United FC in both encounters. Racing won the first one, 1-0, and then the second encounter, 1-1. Similar against Malines United. A goalless encounter as well. Haven't been able to blocks Mount Pleasant, and you wonder why. They do have some players. Irving and Thomas going for that one ball. Bemba does well. This rolls off as dangerous for a moment. Here's Biggs. Campbell does well. And it will be a throw-in. And there's a comment together on the bench there between Biggs and Berger. Came on it, played over to the left-hand side to Kimoni Bailey. Swings it inside the box. Campbell clears. And it's Phillips against Thomas. Back to Ming. Now to Thomas. No one really moving in front of him. And Brian comes all the way back to do some defensive work. And throw in here. Again, no real runners for Mount Pleasant going forward. The ball played over the top. This is always going to be difficult for Edwards with both Paul and Kiros to contend with.
That's almost like returning the ball to the opponent because we have to play this a little bit smarter and preferably play the ball into feet where he has an opportunity. He's more than likely never going to win any of those balls in the air.
So this should be goalkeeper to goalkeeper. And again, just look, the Mount Pleasant players are almost just preparing for the second ball. Biggs does well. Should be a throw into Mount Pleasant. It is. Leacock was playing for that one. Throw taken quickly to Thomas. Then to Marshall. Does well. Marshall skips. Lee Cott does even better. There's a foul. And just look at it. 8 Waterhouse players behind the ball. The goalkeeper beats 9.
I was about to show that to you, and they've been like that all game. The only way to play through that is with numbers and with speed. And we haven't done that very well today at all.
So substitution again. Mount Pleasant. It's Tajay McIntosh. Hometown boy. Places Gadale Irving. Attacking change made by coach Theodore Tapper Whitmore. Needs a goal. Mario Phillips asking referee if time will be added for the seconds that are being eaten up here. Every Waterhouse player back behind the ball. Mount Pleasant with numbers inside the box. They need a good delivery from Demario Phillips. It's not a bad one. Can't beat the first line of defense with Benbow.
Yeah, needed a little bit more over the top. At Benbow facing his goal, though, it's sort of dangerous in terms of heading it into your own goal.
I thought that they would be going with the outswinger. The left-footed Alex Marshall comes across to take this corner kick. That's when they've looked dangerous. On corners, Mount Pleasant. It's a decent one. Flicked on. What a save. Has to be man of the match, Williams. Big thought he was on the score sheet, surely.
Absolutely fantastic. And in the right position as well. He did follow the ball. Excellent, excellent save. That certainly was heading into the back of the net.
And they will look back at that, Mount Pleasant. And the 3 they had in the first half if they go on to lose this one. Marshall again. At the front post. Comes to Phillips. Takes a touch this time. Charged up by 2 Waterhouse players. Williams pause and collects comfortably. But then releases quickly to Benbow. What a take from Cardell Benbow. Ball played to Brian. Goalkeeper comes. Who will win this race? Chambers does well, and then a challenge from Bicknell. The throw for Mount Pleasant. McIntosh turns his marker. Another foul.
And suddenly the intensity of the game is ramping up, Ronaldo.
Alex Marshall to deliver this one inside the box again. Mount Pleasant, they're queuing up again. Every Waterhouse player back behind the ball. It's a decent delivery. Heads go up. Infringement on the play. Waterhouse, time to breathe. This will be a massive win for Waterhouse. Back-to-back victories for the new head coach. Is this the turning point in their season?
It most definitely will.
A stop-start for Mount Pleasant. Had 2 weeks off after that Racing United game because of players going on national duties. Ball played over the top. The defense is caught sleeping. Ming does well. Cummings mops up. No, Marshall escapes. Here's jump all the way over to Phillips. Bypasses Biggs. Plays it forwards to Edwards. Was looking to take it in his stride. Still has possession. Plays it over the top. Looking for the run of McIntosh. And again, Williams alert to the danger. Doughty would have worked with Reggie Williams at Arnett Gardens, where he was the goalkeeper coach at Arnett Gardens as well.
Mount Pleasant playing real risky game now because we're playing only 3 at the back. And the majority of the players are up front looking for this goal, this equalizing goal.
And it's called for. A ball played through. Jump goes down. And it's Kiris again. He's on a yellow card, remember? Another free kick. It seems as if Mount Pleasant are to get back into this game, it will be from a dead ball situation.
Well, certainly Waterhouse is giving them up. And they need to be careful with how many fouls they commit in and around this area.
And Demaria Phillips to deliver. Mount Pleasant queuing up. Ball played inside. That's a good delivery. Comes to Ming, and then it's cleared by Dyer. Fell at the foot of Ming and was unsighted. We'll give you some updated scores after this corner kick by Mount Pleasant, who are getting closer. Phillips to take to the near post. That was a poor delivery. Kimani Campbell can break. Owen jump very late. And it's the Jay McIntosh who is all the way back and maybe had to take him down. Let's see the color of the card here. It's a yellow. And if you're the coach of Mount Pleasant, you will tell to Jay McIntosh that he had to take that one for the team because Campbell was through to goal.
An excellent tackle. I think it was instinctual. I think he generally for the ball, but didn't mind if he got a piece on as well. But he had to stop. Tackled as a true centre forward.
It was needed for Mount Pleasant. We take this time to give you some updated scores from around the league. Dunbeholden leading Harborview by 4-1 after 87 minutes. Treasure Beach, Arnett Garden still 1-1, also after 87 minutes. Montego Bay United, the leaders, look as if they can extend that lead atop the table. They're 2-0 over Chapperton Maroons. Malines United 1-1 with Spanish Town Police. 83 minutes played in that game. And Racing United and Portmore United 1-1 after 78 minutes. So should it stay that way, Montego Bay United will increase their lead by 2 points. I did see on a program that I felt Montego Bay United were the best ball-playing team currently in the Jamaica Premier League. And their recent form has certainly shown that. What a time Xavier Gilbert is having in the second city.
And my understanding is that more reinforcement arriving daily. I won't call any names, but they have a few players in.
It's the right time to do investments in this transfer window. Bemba there outsmarted even his teammates. Goal kick for Mount Pleasant. Or is it a throw? It's a throw, pardon me. So, as it stands now, Mount Pleasant heading for their second defeat of the season. They lost against Racing United in December.
And of course, it will be a first loss here.
The first loss at home since roundabout October 2023. So they have that record as well to maintain. Here's Ming. No Biggs. That was poor. And that was worse. Ming goes and Biggs goes down. That one is played over to the right-hand side. A late call from the referee for foul on Leacock, who has played well.
Certainly has been everywhere. Support coming out of the back. Been seen driving the ball up the pitch. I did mention him at the start of the show that he is going to be a key player for them.
Benbow, good take. Clifford Thomas, a foul for Waterhouse. That is where they want the ball. And the stoppage in the game. What a scalp would this be for Waterhouse? Coming to the home of the two-time beaten finalists, the Caribbean Cup champions, and to not only get a point, but to get all three. Still some time to go. And throw taken. Waterhouse trying to waste some time in the corner. Mount Pleasant with a throw. Is there anything that Mount Pleasant can do going forward? It's cleared upfield and given away. It's given to Kimoni Bailey. Ball played over the top. It comes to McIntosh. Plays it through, looking for Edwards, who's in an offside position. Five minutes indicated by the official. Waterhouse preparing another substitution. As Paul is being attended to. The time is going. Waterhouse preparing another substitution here. And going to their bench.
So another defensive player coming in.
B. Johnson, who comes in, the number 99.
So an attacking player out, defensive player in. It tells you the story of the next couple of minutes.
Stephon Johnson coming in, the number 99, replacing Denarda Thomas. Had a workmanlike performance. Richie Williams, if you were to pick a man of the match, Richard Henry. As there's still chance. Brian does well. Creating space. Charged down by Ming. And played long. Kimani Campbell. Nodded on by Leacock. And Phillips. And that come off Benbow. Looking for the decision from the referee. Short, and will be a throw-in. Not sure if the referee knows what this will be. So it will be a throw-in to Waterhouse. Kind of what I thought. And 2 balls on the field. Gets this one to Bembo. Phillips cuts it out. Back to Ming. Not to Thomas. Looking for options, Thomas. Not a lot of movements. Here's Biggs. And it's a throw. Poor touch from Biggs. Was not a good ball from the initial stage.
Had a lot of pace on it. It would have always been difficult for Biggs to control that.
So Waterhouse with the throw. They're edging closer to beating the Caribbean champions at their home. Ball played long, looking for Tajay McIntosh. Comes all the way to Amos. Poor clearance from the goalkeeper, Williams. Phillips, no to Biggs. It's no or never for Mount Pleasant. Biggs twisting and turning, goes down under the challenge. It's a free kick.
And we said this before, Waterhouse needs to be very careful with all these fouls in and around the 18-yard box. Mount Pleasant certainly has had a number of opportunities, whether it be direct free kicks or corners or squares inside, but have made use of them. One was a brilliant save from the goalkeeper. Let's see what happens with this one.
Now, of course, at the end of the game, to stick around for the post-game show, myself and Richard Henry will break things down for you. The coach is all the way up, ensuring that the defensive lines are okay. Ball played inside the box. The goalkeeper calls, misses it. And Benbow plays it to Bittnell. Brian was all alone on the right-hand side. Here's Campbell. Benbow gives chase. Plays it across. A man arriving late. Thomas cuts it out and plays it forward to McIntosh. And picked up by Bailey. Headed on. It's Ming who is the furthest person forward. And Williams, maybe fittingly, could have the last kick of this game. Roger Williams. He does have the last kick. So many teams have come here to Draxall and have left without 3 points. It dates back to 2023. The last time Mount Pleasant tasted defeat on their home patch. But it is Waterhouse who came to the home of the Caribbean champions and delivers a telling blow. Borough with an early goal, the decisive goal. Waterhouse, 3 massive points for Mount Pleasant. Disappointment again. A second defeat of the season. And surely now, Waterhouse feel that they're back.
Most definitely. Even as a spectator, you can actually feel that for yourself. You can see that for yourself just in the way that they're playing. Defensively, fairly solid, a lot better. But also in transition, they certainly have improved. That defensive transition into attack is a lot more dangerous than it was before.
All right, so the end of the contest, Waterhouse walking away with all 3 points over Mount Pleasant Football Academy. Such a long time since the Caribbean champions have lost here at the Draxall Sports Complex. But it is Firehouse who came and fired. They've touched Draxall. I don't know yet if they've burnt it to the ground. I'm sure that the Lions from St. Anne will recover. Welcome to your post-game show with myself and Richard Henry, our analyst. Richard, where do we even start to break this one down? Probably a toothless Mount Pleasant going forward, and maybe not for the first time this season.
Yeah, certainly. I think what was presented to us required some tactical adjustments. They presented 5 at the back and sometimes 4 across the middle. And we had a difficulty breaking that down. One of the reasons, too, is that in transition, we transition a little bit too slow. If you transition slowly, then you allow the opponent to be able to set their blocks up. And they did that pretty well. At one point, they had almost 5 center-backs playing across the last defensive line. And those guys defend fairly well. I don't think that we played well in between the lines as well, because I was showing you as the game was building up that there is space between the midfield line and the defensive line, and that's where you have to go into to play. That's where the ball has to be breaking those lines. It's when that line is broken that the defenders on the last line will now have to do something different. If you don't unbalance them, then it's always going to be in their favor.
Yeah, we spoke about Waterhouse not scoring more than 1 goal in a game since September 29, 2025. Did we see today the reason why? Because they took a 1-0 lead into the halftime break, but when they came back, Coach Javier Einstein went immediately for Kiros and Bicknell, Bicknell, who sat in front of the back five, and Kiras, who slotted into the back five alongside the likes of Amos, Campbell, and Paul, who played well, defending the one goal, and in the end, it worked.
Yeah, I think their aim was always to get us on that transition, and they did get one. I think Barrow played very well. If you ask me, he's my man of the match, only because if there was anything super special that was done in the game, it was that goal. We did watch him tee it up, but at the same time, being an unknown quantity, he certainly introduced himself because that was a fantastic shot. You don't beat the Mount Pleasant goalkeeper that easily, and that ball definitely had him beaten.
Mount Pleasant goalkeeper and the national goalkeeper as well, Tafari Chambers. It's a strike that's worth winning any game at any level, wasn't it?
Most certainly, and I mean, that's why I would have no problem giving him man of the match. It's a difference maker for the game. And in the first half, I think he played very well. He held the ball up for them, he played wide, went back inside for the cross ball, and that helped them in possession, in attack. And they needed quite a bit of that because Mount Pleasant did have most of the football.
For Mount Pleasant, where do they go from here? Because if you talk about picking up the pieces, they'll have to pick up the pieces quite quickly because Arnett Gardens comes knocking on Wednesday right here at Draxall.
I think Arnett Gardens will be a totally different sort of proposal. May play a little bit the way that we want teams to play or the way that we can play through teams. But nonetheless, we have to take a look at what happened here with this Waterhouse team and how do we break teams down that are truly defense-oriented and looking for that transition. How do we break teams down that sit in a 5-4 low block? That's going to be the important part of dealing with that.
It's so important that you mentioned that because if you look at the two games that Mount Pleasant have lost this season, away against Racing United, that was very good defensively. They drew with Racing here 2 weeks ago. Again, very good defensively. Malines United at Waterhouse at Jerusalem, very defensive, ended 0-0. Our teams and have Waterhouse demonstrated to the rest of the league that this is how you play against the Mount Pleasant Football Academy, home or away.
So what's important, I think, is adding some variation. And we do have those sort of players. None of them are on the bench today, but we can't just be one-dimensional. Teams know that we play a lot out to the flanks. So what's happening now, I see Malines do it to us. We play to the flanks, they allow you to the flanks, and it's a funnel. It keeps getting smaller because they have more players out here waiting to corral the ball. We have to become multidimensional. We have to show teams that we can play through the middle of you as well. So then the attack is not predictable. It becomes open now, and teams sort of won't have, the wherewithal to be able to prepare because we can play over, around, or, right through the middle of you. And I think that's the dimension because as I was showing you, I'll repeat again, there is space to play between the second two lines of Waterhouse's defense. But you have to have the type of players to play through the middle of that. Good ball control, can play in tight spaces, and courageous and brave enough to go into those spaces.
All right, Richard. Well, a couple of days before Mount Pleasant, they meet Arnett Gardens right here at Draxall Sports Complex. Kickoff is at 3 p.m. Gates open at 1 p.m. That's it from us here for your post-game show. Once again, Waterhouse beating Mount Pleasant Football Academy by 1-0 right here at the Draxall Sports Complex. The first that Mount Pleasant are losing a game at Draxall since around about October 2023, where they lost to Chapelton Maroons. But they will have to dig deep and they will have to come better in a few days' time when they play Arnett Gardens. That's it from us here at the Draxall Sports Complex. Until next time, I'm Renardo Brown on behalf of Richard Henry and the entire Dr. Phil production crew. See you then.